In Samba district, searches have been launched after intel inputs of suspected terrorist movement in Barodi area of Bari Brahmana, and some calls were also made to Pakistan from mobile phones from this very location. Few locals are now being questioned by the cops, and the search operation is being conducted jointly by the Jammu and Kashmir Police, the SOG and the Indian Army. Gursimran, tell us about this search operation that has been launched, and also about the call records from this particular area, which have now hinted at a conversation that was held between suspected terrorists and Pakistan handlers.
Yes, that is based on some intelligence input that has been shared with the Jammu and Kashmir Police by the intelligence agencies with regard to the movement of some suspected terrorists in the area. That a large-scale operation is being launched, is underway as we speak, by the Jammu and Kashmir Police in the Samba district, the Special Operations Group, as well as by the Indian Army. What we are being told that there were some intercepts that were there and were intercepted by the intelligence agencies, that reads that some calls were made from the Badi Brahmana area, that general area, to the handlers across the border. Some Pakistani numbers were called upon, and that raised the suspicion. Some of the individuals were detained by the Jammu and Kashmir Police for interrogation. They are presently being questioned, while on the other hand a large-scale operation has been launched in the Barodi area of Badi Brahmana, where the forces are carrying out searches to rule out any possibility or if there is any threat that can be neutralized, because we are days to the start of Amarnath Yatra, and there are likely inputs that Pakistan may try to foment the trouble through their so-called non-state actors. They will use these overground workers to disrupt the peace, and that is why we are witnessing a heightened alert that has been sounded all across the Jammu region, and now every input that is being shared by the intelligence agencies or by any individuals, that is being taken seriously, and a large-scale search operation is underway in the Barodi area of Badi Brahmana in Samba district.
Right, Gursimran, thank you for joining me with those latest details on the search operations which continue on ground zero in Samba sector. Viewers, it's the 11th International Yoga Day, and Prime Minister Narendra Modi was leading the celebrations. The Prime Minister was seen performing several asanas at an event in Visakhapatnam, and the theme for this year is Yoga for One Health and One Earth, which echoes India's vision of global wellness and also reflects the integrated vision of well-being. The Prime Minister said that yoga is for everyone, beyond boundaries, backgrounds, age, or even ability. The International Yoga Day has been celebrated across the world since 2014 after India's proposal was accepted at the United Nations. The Prime Minister also recalled how 175 countries backed Bharat's proposal for declaring this day as International Yoga Day. And this is indeed Bharat's gift to the entire world. Let's listen in to the Prime Minister.
देश और दुनिया भर के सभी लोगों को इंटरनेशनल योग डे की बहुत बहुत शुभकामनाएं। आज 11वीं बार पूरा विश्व 21 जून को एक साथ योग कर रहा है। योग का सीधा साधा अर्थ होता है जुड़ना, और ये देखना सुखद है कि कैसे योग ने पूरे विश्व को जोड़ा है। जब संयुक्त राष्ट्र में भारत ने प्रस्ताव रखा कि 21 जून को अंतर्राष्ट्रीय योग दिवस के रूप में मान्यता मिले, और तब कम से कम समय में दुनिया के 175 देश हमारे इस प्रस्ताव के साथ खड़े हुए। आज की दुनिया में ऐसी एकजुटता, ऐसा समर्थन सामान्य घटना नहीं है। ये सिर्फ एक प्रस्ताव का समर्थन भर नहीं था, ये मानवता के भले के लिए दुनिया का सामूहिक प्रयास था। चाहे सिडनी ओपेरा हाउस की सीढ़ियां हो या एवरेस्ट की चोटी हो या फिर समंदर का विस्तार हो, हर जगह से एक ही संदेश आता है, योग सभी का है और सभी के लिए है। Where inner peace becomes global policy, जहां योग सिर्फ पर्सनल प्रैक्टिस न रहे बल्कि ग्लोबल पार्टनरशिप का माध्यम बने, जहां हर देश, हर समाज योग को जीवन शैली और लोक नीति का हिस्सा बनाए, जहां हम मिलकर एक शांत, संतुलित और सस्टेनेबल विश्व को गति दें, जहां योग विश्व को टकराव से सहयोग और तनाव से समाधान की ओर ले जाए।
आज पूरा विश्व इंटरनेशनल योगा डे मना रहा है और हमारे ऋषियों और मुनियों योग की एक ऐतिहासिक परंपरा और विरासत को आज पूरी दुनिया फॉलो कर रही है। साथियों, हमारे यहाँ योग केवल एक अभ्यास नहीं है बल्कि एक वे ऑफ लाइफ है, जीवन जीने का यह तरीका है और यह कोई नई बात नहीं है। यह हजारों वर्ष, लाखों वर्ष, हजारों वर्ष पुरानी यह भारत की परंपरा है। आप सोचिए, एक समय था जब योग को सिर्फ भारत के ऋषियों और योगियों तक ही यह सीमित माना जाता था, लेकिन आज न्यूयॉर्क का टाइम्स स्क्वायर हो या पेरिस का एफिल टावर हो, हर जगह लोग योग मैट बिछाकर सूर्य नमस्कार कर रहे हैं और योगा कर रहे हैं।
इस शरीर माध्यम खलु धर्म साधनम का जो भाव है, इसकी पूर्ति अगर हमें कहीं से प्राप्त होती है तो वह योग के माध्यम से हमें प्राप्त होती है। योग भारत की ऋषि परंपरा का वह प्रसाद, जिसे लोक कल्याण का माध्यम बना करके आत्म कल्याण के माध्यम से, लोक कल्याण का माध्यम बना करके विश्व कल्याण का मार्ग जिसके माध्यम से भारत ने प्रशस्त किया था।
जिस प्रस्ताव को आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने यूनाइटेड नेशंस जनरल असेंबली में रखा, उसको यूनाइटेड नेशंस ने सर्वसम्मति से पारित करके 2015 से यह अंतर्राष्ट्रीय योग दिवस प्रारंभ हुआ है। और हम देख रहे हैं कि पिछले 10 वर्षों में आज ये 10 साल पूरे हो रहे हैं, 11वें वर्ष में हम प्रवेश कर रहे हैं। इस 10 वर्षों में न ही सिर्फ देश में बल्कि दुनिया में योग चेतना और योग के प्रति एक सद्भाव के वातावरण के साथ साथ ज्यादा से ज्यादा लोगों का सहयोग मिलते हुए इसमें योगदान हुआ है। और हमने यह भी देखा है कि किस तरीके से योग ने स्वास्थ्य के क्षेत्र में, मानसिक तनाव के क्षेत्र में या अपने व्यक्तिगत जीवन में किस तरीके से बदलाव लाने का काम हुआ है।
As nation celebrates International Yoga Day, Republic reports from the Indo-Pakistan international border in the Octrai border outpost in the Araspura sector of Jammu, where Pakistan is just 100 meters away from this area. And here the Jawans, the officers of the border security force, the brave hearts that are responsible for the border security are performing the yogas. These are the officials from the border security force that are now performing the yoga. This is the 11th consecutive year that International Yoga Day is being observed throughout the country, and here at the place which is one of the most sensitive places in the India, that is Indo-Pakistan international border, the troops of the Border Security Force are now performing the yoga skills. This early morning, the BSF officials all gathered here in large numbers to perform the yogas. Important to mention that this time the message of the One Earth, One Health is being spread by these heroes of the Border Security Force that have shown their valor time and again. I'll request Gaurav to move this way to show the tricolor that is flying high here at the Indo-Pakistan international border, sending a clear message that India stands firm against any threat to the sovereignty, and these brave hearts that are responsible for the sovereignty and the security of the country, they are giving a message of the oneness, one earth, one health, and also that how yoga can be made part of the life of the soldiers, so officials of the Border Security Force, to keep them alert on the borders. We have the Deputy Inspector General of the Border Security Force, Mr. Chitrapal, also with us. Sir, संदेश जो आप लोग क्या यहाँ से देना चाहते हैं अंतर्राष्ट्रीय योग दिवस पर?
संदेश बड़ा साफ है, जैसे कि हमारे माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने ये सभी को पूरे वर्ल्ड में इसको इतना पॉपुलर कर दिया है, तो हम देशवासियों को आग्रह करना चाहते हैं और रिक्वेस्ट करना चाहते हैं कि सभी योग को अपनी दिनचर्या में अपनाएं, स्वस्थ रहें और आज की भागदौड़ वाली ज़िंदगी में अपने आप को स्वस्थ रखें।
बीएसएफ के लिए कितना कारगर जो है योग साबित हुआ है, क्योंकि इतनी चुनौतियों के बीच यहाँ पर बीएसएफ डिप्लॉय रहती है?
हमारे लिए तो बहुत ये एक तरीके का, जैसे जीवन में एक बार दोबारा से जैसे प्राण आ जाते हैं उस तरीके की सिचुएशन है, क्योंकि हमारे जवान जो काफ़ी चुनौतीपूर्ण जो अपनी ड्यूटी को अंजाम देते हैं और डेली की जो दिनचर्या की, इसमें हमने इसको योग को अपनाया है और हम जवानों को हमेशा प्रमोट करते हैं कि रोज़ योग करें और स्वस्थ रहें।
So the yoga has played a key role in the lives of the bordermen, those who guard the frontiers of the country. And here at the Indo-Pakistan international border, the yoga is being observed, is being performed by these brave hearts of the Border Security Force. Important to mention that through the length of the breath, starting from the line of actual control to the line of control to international border and also in the hinterland, the yoga is being performed in every nook and corner, sending a message that India, not only the country, but India as a whole, India as those Indians who are outside this country, and also the world is celebrating the International Yoga Day on 21st. The message is very clear that the India wants to promote yoga. It is for the well-being of the humanity. That is the message. With Gaurav Sani, Gursimran Singh for Republic Media Network.
Viewers, moving on, scores of Indians are stranded in the conflict zone in West Asia, but there is hope. A flight with 290 Indian students, mostly from Jammu and Kashmir, arrived in Delhi after Iran lifted its airspace restrictions as part of India's Operation Sindhu. In a special gesture, Iran allowed 3 evacuation flights to use its airspace to help bring home around 1,000 Indians. Here's a quick report on that.
Today we saw that another batch of students of India, Bharat, that was stranded in Iran came back. Right now you're just witnessing that how most of these students who belong from Kashmir are being put in buses, and you are seeing that how officials from the Ministry of Home Affairs and other form of the union government are making sure that all the students over here who have just returned back to their motherland are being put in buses from where they're going to be sent back. So what we are going to be doing is, we have already had a word with the students, and I would just request my video journalists to just show the visuals of these buses where the students are being put. In fact, I would urge my video journalists to show the visuals of some more students being put over here. These are some of the students, who are over here. They are going to be put in buses. In fact, we'll try having a word with them. How does it feel to be coming back to your motherland?
Oh, it's very good and हमें एम्बेसी ने बहुत ज़्यादा हेल्प की, उन्होंने इवैक्यूएट करने में बहुत ज़्यादा।
आप कश्मीर के कौन से भाग के, आपका नाम?
मेरा नाम साविसा जमुल है और मैं जम्मू में किश्तवाड़ से हूँ।
So yes, you are seeing that how now students are being put in buses. It's a happy situation for people coming over here, the students coming over here. From here, most of these students are going to be now taken back to Kashmir, where most of these students belong to. But yes, along with the students, there were also some people who had gone to pilgrimage, most of the people from western Uttar Pradesh. So yes, we've also had a word with them. And as I said, it's a happy situation where at least most of the students who were stranded in Iran, that is right now being torn in war, are being brought back. And you are witnessing that how there is a lot of hustle and bustle, a lot of excitement, a lot of enthusiasm. And I would just request the video journalist to show the visuals over here. A lot of enthusiasm as the students are being welcomed over here in the motherland. And it is not only the students who are being welcomed, but there are also a lot of people who had gone for pilgrimage. They are also being welcomed of finally returning from Iran, a war-torn country right now, being coming back to the motherland.
It's time for a quick break, viewers. On the other side, we'll tell you more about these two flights landing in New Delhi from Iran. Indian nationals continue to be evacuated under Operation Sindhu. Along with that, UN Secretary General has warned confrontation between Israel and Iran is racing towards a crisis and urged for complete de-escalation by both parties. Stay tuned for more on them.
I have seen what it takes to report from the front lines. Accuracy, courage, urgency and responsibility. At Republic School of Journalism, you will be trained for that reality. It is not theory. It is live learning from inside a working newsroom from day one. If you want to report the truth when it matters the most, Republic School of Journalism is where you begin. Course begins on the 30th of June. Apply now.
विमल में गुलिस्तां के ये कुछ लजीज फरिश्ते जब साथ घुलें तो जी लग जाए और दिल कहे कि स्वाद की जुबान में खुद को ऐसे डुबाऊं कि निकल ना पाऊं। विमल की जुबान कुछ है ही ऐसी, मानते हैं? विमल, बोलो जुबान कैसी?
दादी के हाथों का जादू और खुशबू से महकता घर, माँ की मुस्कुराहट और खाने की सुगंध। MDH गरम मसाला,
क्योंकि हर रिश्ता है स्वाद से जुड़ा।
קולמיון. תראה את כולם רצים, תראו את האנשים, תראו את האנשים.
Early this morning, an Iranian ballistic missile directly hit the Soroka hospital in Beersheba. This hospital serves over 1 million Israelis, including Bedouins, Jews, Christians, and Arabs alike. Iran targeting civilian centers with ballistic missiles is no surprise for us. They have been openly declaring their desire to destroy the state of Israel for decades now.
In this cabinet, and not only in this cabinet. We gave you through this.
I have seen it, what it takes to report from the front lines. Accuracy, urgency, courage, responsibilities. At Republic School of Journalism, you'll be trained for that reality. It's not theory, it's live learning inside a working newsroom from the day one. If you want to report the truth when it matters the most, RSJ is where you begin. Course begins on June 30th. Apply now.
विमल में गुलिस्तां की ये कुछ लजीज फरिश्ते जब साथ घुले तो जी ललचाए और दिल कहे कि स्वाद की इस जुबान में खुद को ऐसा डुबाऊं कि निकल ना पाऊं। विमल की जुबान कुछ है ही ऐसी, मानते हैं ना? विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
दादी के हाथों का जादू और खुशबू से महकता घर, माँ की मुस्कुराहट और खाने की सुगंध। MDH गरम मसाला,
क्योंकि हर रिश्ता है स्वाद से जुड़ा।
יש שם, זה לא נפילות?
זה נפילות, אבא, זה נפילות.
Russia, Ukraine is so stupid. Would have never happened if I was president. You guys agree with that, right? Would have never happened if I was president. Putin would have never done it. And I spoke to him yesterday and I said, you know, he actually offered to help mediate. I said, do me a favor. Mediate your own. Let's mediate Russia first, okay? I said, Vladimir, let's mediate Russia first. You can worry about this later.
Israel has launched multiple missile attacks on Iran, targeting more military bases after Tehran ruled out nuclear talks at the United Nations.
Well, then my intelligence community is wrong. Who in the intelligence community said that?
Your Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard.
She's wrong.
Trump says his intel chief Tulsi Gabbard is wrong about Iran's nuclear program. Flight with 290 Indian students arrive in Delhi after Tehran lifted its airspace restrictions as part of India's Operation Sindhu. FATF report undercovers Pakistan missile link in seized shipment by India.
Yoga Day marks the beginning of Yoga for Humanity 2.0, जहां योग विश्व को टकराव से सहयोग और तनाव से समाधान की ओर ले जाए.
As tensions continue between Iran and Israel, Prime Minister Modi emphasizes on yoga for global peace. And Defence Minister Rajnath Singh held a high-level security assessment meet on the situation along the line of control and the hinterland. Very good morning. You're watching live and breaking on Republic TV. I'm Aishwarya Kapoor with you. We have our top focus. This is a breaking news coming in. Iran has said that it would not discuss the future of its nuclear program while under attack by Israel as Europe tried to coax Tehran back into negotiations and the United States considers whether to get involved in the conflict. Now, a week into its campaign, Israel said that it had struck dozens of military targets, including missile production sites as well as a research body. It said it was involved in nuclear weapons development in Tehran and military facilities in western and central Iran. All right, so Iran making it very, very clear there that it would not discuss the future of its nuclear program. as the two countries continue to share hostilities there. Europe is trying its max to coax Tehran back into negotiations, but Tehran has made it very, very clear that it is not going to discuss the future of its nuclear program. All right, our executive editor Aishwarya Kapoor is joining us. Aishwarya sir is joining us from the United States. Let's cut across first to him. And we also are joined in by Major General Shashi Asthana, who's a defense expert. First, coming to you, Aishwarya sir. So now Tehran has made it very, very clear that the future of its nuclear program is not going to be discussed, even as the strikes by Israel continue. So what can we expect in the future now? Because there is a increased, the attacks are continuing, and there is a risk that the entire region, Middle East region, can get involved. And now there's a nuclear threat as well.
Well, from one Aishwarya to another, I can just confirm you this, that no one knows what Donald Trump is going to do. Aishwarya, we need to understand what's happening is that when Donald Trump calls her own Tulsi Gabbard wrong, calls his own intelligence community wrong on Iran, so there's something cooking which even his close aides, as close as Tulsi Gabbard, are not aware. Yes, everyone is waiting. Benjamin Netanyahu is waiting that when will America join this war against Iran? But there's something cooking, because we need to understand that today itself, there was a source-based information which was given from the White House that Iran is ready for a conversation with the US just at a point when Benjamin Netanyahu stops the attack on Iran. So there's something cooking which we are not aware of, which only Donald Trump and his very, very close aides are. So there's something which is happening. He just 2 days prior said that he could wait as long as 2 weeks. But for Israel, for Benjamin Netanyahu, even 2 days are going to be too much. And well, even if America joins in this war against Iran after 2 weeks, it will be too late for Tel Aviv. We are seeing these visuals of devastation in Tel Aviv. Iran has put a blanket internet ban. So those visuals are just not coming out. But one can only imagine that if Iran is able to do that much damage in Tel Aviv, the amount of damage in Tehran is going to be massive and many times more. But what is happening is that Donald Trump, at one comment he makes, Aishwarya, he is basically looking out for a Nobel Peace Prize for himself. So that in itself is for the domestic audience. He says that he has once again tailored peace between some South African nations, and he would have or he should have gotten a Nobel Peace Prize. But we know his larger attempt. He just wants attention on him. The world is very clear. He called in the Pakistani army chief Asim Munir. A lot of talk was happening about that back in India. But he has given a pat down to Asim Munir. He has put Asim Munir at his place. He has told him, do not let your politicians, do not let these Pakistani politicians make such comments that they are going to go for Iran, and make sure that none of your politicians, including the so-called Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif, make such a comment. And just within hours of Asim Munir speaking with Donald Trump, you see the reaction which is coming in from the Pakistani government. They are saying that their weapons are for themselves. They will not help Iran. And then just 2.5 hours prior from now, because it's 1 a.m. here in the US, here in Washington, D.C., a press release has been issued just 20 minutes prior, 10 minutes past midnight, where it categorically says that Iran has issued a statement against Pakistan that if Pakistan allows the American forces, Pakistan should be ready for dire consequences. This is coming out of Tehran. And then America is responding to it. So a lot is happening behind the scenes as well. But as far as Donald Trump is concerned, I don't think that even Donald Trump understands what Trump means. Back to you, Aishwarya.
Right. Thank you so much. We'll just come back to you. We are also joined in by Major General Shashi Asthana, who's a defense expert. Very good morning, sir, and thank you so much for joining us here on Republic TV. Sir, now with Iran refusing talks amid Israeli strikes and also possibly weighing on NPT withdrawal, now what are the real, diplomatic off-ramps that have been left to avoid nuclear escalation?
Pleasure talking to you. First, let me talk from the Iran's point of view. As far as this deal is concerned, this deal means that Iran should just forget about nuclear enrichment, even for peace. Now, that I don't think will be acceptable to any Iranian regime, and they have rightfully said that no, we are not interested in this kind of deal. So, such a deal I don't think Iran will accept by any stretch of imagination. The second point is as to what is happening. The Iranians have also struck Israel, and Israel also has got a limited capacity to take a beating. As far as Iran is concerned, yes, there have been devastating damages, both sides, Iran as well as Israel. But the capacity of Iran to take fair amount of beating is much more than the capacity of Israel to take a beating. They have been reasonably protected by the Iron Dome and by a whole lot of other, shall I say, the air defense systems of US, UK and everybody else who is there in Mediterranean. That's number one. That's as far as the ground situation is concerned. Now coming on to Donald Trump and the intervention of US. See, US is in tremendous dilemma. Trump is also in tremendous dilemma. He has been manipulated by Netanyahu to an idea that they should strike Iran. But now Israel is stuck in a manner that the nuclear facilities which are underground, which are inside the hill, they cannot be destroyed by Israel. And even for GBU 57, there are doubts whether it will be able to destroy it or not. And President Trump's dilemma is, if unless Pentagon is 100% sure that they can destroy it, he will not like to get in, because if he gets in, it is going to spiral out. And if Iran strikes any of the military bases in Mediterranean of Americans, and Americans do get killed, and Iran has done it in past when Soleimani was killed, then USA will not know what to do. They will have to intervene, and they are least interested in getting boots on ground in Iran, because if they cannot win Afghanistan in 20 years, there is no question they can win Iran in 20 years, because the terrain of Iran and the motivation of radicalized motivation of Iran is also no less than what it was in Afghanistan. So considering these options, President Trump really has a tough task on his hand firstly to help out Netanyahu, his friend, and have his fancy ideas of Rivera in Gaza and getting Canada and Greenland and all that, and telling lies every second, shall I say, in his second conversation. But the problem is that is not materializing to any of his foreign policy win. And therefore, he is also frustrated. His choices are limited. And in my opinion, he has bought time by saying that, okay, I will decide after 2 weeks. And within those 2 weeks, I think Israel as well as Iran also has got limited capacity, limited numbers of missiles. So their missiles are also depleting. Their silos are being targeted by Israel. So they are also losing capacity, and so is the case with Israel. So therefore, maybe that after 1 week, both of them may find it quite difficult to continue with the same pace as they are fighting with each other now. So maybe that he has bought some time for himself to make a decision. Back to you.
Sir, for joining us and giving us insights on that big story. And viewers, we have more breaking news coming in at this moment. Israel has intensified its military campaign against Hezbollah in Lebanon as the tensions mount across the region following recent escalations between Israel and Iran. The Israeli military confirmed on Friday that it had killed a key Hezbollah commander in southern Lebanon, citing an urgent need to neutralize imminent threats to its northern border. So Israel escalating its strikes against Hezbollah in Lebanon at this stage of the broader Israel-Iran conflict. Now, what are the implications of Hezbollah's involvement in this conflict for instability is something that we have to wait and watch. But at this moment, Israel escalating its strikes against Hezbollah in Lebanon. And viewers, we have more breaking news coming in. A ballistic missile fired from Iran hit the Kulel Chabad daycare center in Beersheba, southern Israel. Fortunately, no children or staff were physically harmed in the attack, as it occurred outside the center's regular operating hours. However, the strike caused significant damage to the classrooms and also play areas, impacting dozens of local families who rely on the center for childcare and stability. So as Iran and Israel continue to exchange missiles, a ballistic missile from Iran hit a daycare center in southern Israel. Fortunately, there were no children inside the daycare center and no staff was there at that time, and therefore no injuries or any deaths were reported. And more breaking news coming in at this moment. IDF has dismantled Iran missile launchers. IRGC commander was eliminated in the drone strike. IDF foils missile attack and destroys launchers. So the exchange of missiles continue from both Israel and Iran, and IDF has now dismantled Iran missile launchers. And one IRGC commander has been eliminated in the drone strike. IDF has foiled missile attack and it has destroyed the launchers coming in from Iran. So situation in the Middle East continues to unfold, and the tensions in the Middle East, the Western Asia region continues to escalate. There is a threat of nuclear conflict entering a nuclear zone as well, but Iran making it very clear that it is not going to discuss its nuclear program at the United Nations. So Iran making it very clear. So both sides are sticking to their stand as the conflict lingers on. Meanwhile, Iran has officially filed a complaint against IAEA Director General Rafael Grossi, alleging biased approach towards its nuclear program that Iran claims is a peaceful nuclear activity. In the complaint, Iran accused that IAEA head was violating the agency's neutrality and condoning Israel's military action against Iran's nuclear program. So officially, Iran has filed a complaint against IAEA Director General. It says that the Director General of IAEA is biased and he is supporting Israel's military action against Iran. And viewers, we have more breaking news coming in. The ministers of foreign affairs of France, Germany and the United Kingdom, together with the High Representative of the European Union, met with their Iranian counterpart in Geneva on Friday, 20th of June, that is yesterday. And they shared their grave concerns with regard to the escalation of tensions in the Middle East and reiterated their firm commitment to Israel's security. They expressed their view that all sides should refrain from taking steps which lead to further escalation in the region and urgently find a negotiated solution to ensure that Iran never obtains or acquires a nuclear weapon. So the conflict between Israel and Iran has been intensifying, with both sides continue to engage in a series of military strikes, cyber attacks and covert operations as well. Now, Israel has targeted Iranian military installations, nuclear facilities and also key infrastructure, while Iran has responded with rocket attacks and drone strikes against the Israeli territory. The conflict has significant global implications due to the involvement of major world powers as well, and the United States, the key ally of Israel, has been drawn into the conflict, while Iran has received support from Russia and China. Now, this has led to a complex web of alliances and rivalries that could potentially escalate the conflict. While the escalation sees no end in sight, Republic is the only channel reporting live from Tel Aviv in Israel, from the areas that have suffered extensive damage. Now, here is what Republic reporter Nick saw on the ground zero. Take a look.
Here is the downtown of Tel Aviv area, one of the main business centers of Israel. And you can see how extensive is the damage just from one ballistic missile that Iran sends towards this residential and business area. Tens of thousands of people are working here every day, and those offices, skyscrapers, were the target of the Iranian missile, and also the residential buildings here, some of them completely destroyed, some of them can fall any moment. That's why we can't go closer, because it's really dangerous. Parts of the buildings still are falling, and those buildings are not safe. People are evacuated from all of this area, and here the security forces continue to work and to understand how extensive is the damage from the Iranian ballistic missile. It was a illegal missile that was fired from Iran. It had a cluster munition on the ballistic missile, meaning that from one rocket, many smaller rockets were fired, and they are in the radius of all of this area fell, and they can explode any moment. If children or people touch them, they can explode, and this is illegal. But still, Iran doing that because they are trying to terrorize the people of Israel. Iran thinks that if the Israeli people will be terrorized enough, it will lead to a pressure on the Israeli government to stop their war, to stop their effort to destroy the nuclear capabilities, the nuclear weapons of the Iranian regime, with which they are threatening for many years to destroy the Jewish land.
And on to some other news. International Yoga Day resonated globally once again, and this time from the rugged terrains of Mongolia, where the Indian Army led a remarkable celebration during the multinational military exercise called Conquest, highlighting unity, discipline and holistic well-being. Here is a quick report.
The Indian contingent took the lead in commemorating International Yoga Day at the ongoing Conquest exercise. They brought together troops from across the globe for a rejuvenating session of yoga. Amid Mongolia's natural landscape, soldiers embraced the ancient Indian practice. Yoga is known for its benefits to physical health, mental clarity and emotional balance. From stretching poses to mindful breathing, the session reflected yoga's growing global resonance. It showcased yoga's power to foster discipline, peace, cooperation, values central to every military force. The joint yoga celebration are being seen as a powerful reminder that even amidst military drills, nation can come together, not just in strategy, but in spirituality.
Time to take a break. Coming up ahead, a flight with the 290 Indian students arrived in Delhi after Iran lifted its airspace restrictions as part of India's Operation Sindoor. An FATF report uncovers Pakistan missile link in a seized shipment by India. Details on those two big stories and much more coming up ahead.
इसको घर पे लगाओगे तो शादी का तो पता नहीं, पर घर पक्का नहीं टूटेगा।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
पहाड़ों में एक हाइकिंग स्टिक भी बन सकती है।
आधे बाउल दही में 4 चम्मच MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला डाला, स्टर करो, पुदीना चटनी तैयार। MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला।
مجتمع هسته‌ای کشورمان حمله کرد. دشمن صهیونی مجتمع آب سنگین شهدای قنداب در استان مرکزی را مورد هدف قرار داد. مرتضی میری، مدیر کل مدیریت بحران استان مرکزی به خبرگزاری صدا
We don't just get you the headlines, we report on them. We get information from the highest level of sources. We get you news from the men in uniform, from those on the front. At Republic School of Journalism, you will learn how real reporting is done on the ground and in real time. The RSG Diploma course begins on June 30th. If you want to lead the story, start here.
आपकी फेवरेट हुंडई कार्स पर मिल रही है अमेजिंग डील्स। वैसे लोगे तो आप हुंडई ही, चाहे दिल की सुनो या डील्स की, तो जल्दी चले आओ हुंडई शोरूम।
ये है सीक्रेट रेसिपी MDH का जीरा सिप जल जीरा मसाला। सिप सिप जीरा सिप जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा सिप।
مجتمع هسته‌ای کشورمان حمله کرد. دشمن صهیونی مجتمع آب سنگین شهدای قنداب در استان مرکزی را مورد هدف قرار داد. مرتضی میری، مدیر کل مدیریت بحران استان مرکزی به خبرگزاری صدا
what it takes to report from the front lines. Accuracy, courage, urgency and responsibility. At Republic School of Journalism, you will be trained for that reality. It's not theory, it's live learning from a working newsroom from day one. If you want to report the truth when it matters the most, Republic School of Journalism is where you begin. Courses begin on 30th June. Apply now.
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
A very good morning, hello and welcome. You're watching Republic TV with me, Akanksha Khajuria. Bharat 2050 is back, bigger, bolder and more visionary than ever. In the second edition, Mega Structures, Republic takes you to the very heart of India's infra revolution, from seaports to skyways, energy corridors to digital highways. We decode the monumental build transforming New India. And this just isn't about development, it's about national awakening in steel, concrete and unshakable ambition. With this, we are starting with the headlines. Israel has launched multiple missiles attack on Iran, targeting more military bases after Tehran ruled out nuclear talks at the UN.
Well, then my intelligence community is wrong. Who in the intelligence community said that?
Your Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard.
She's wrong.
Donald Trump says his intel chief is wrong about Iran's nuclear program. Flight with 290 Indian students arrived in the national capital after Iran lifted its airspace restrictions as a part of India's Operation Sindhu. FATF report uncovers Pakistan missile link in seized shipment by India.
Let this Yoga Day mark the beginning of Yoga for Humanity 2.0, जहां योग विश्व को टकराव से सहयोग और तनाव से समाधान की ओर ले जाए.
As tensions continue between Iran and Israel, the Prime Minister has emphasized on yoga for global peace. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh held a high-level security assessment meet of the situation along the LOC and hinterland. While the Defence Minister Rajnath Singh is holding a security assessment of the situation on the line of control and hinterland, Army Chief General Upendra Dwivedi is also part of this security assessment. Lieutenant General Prateek Sharma, Northern Army Commander, and White Knight Corps Commander P.K. Mishra are briefing the Raksha Mantri on the situation. Meeting is taking place at the conference hall in Northern Command of the Indian Army in Udhampur in Jammu and Kashmir. So this crucial meeting is in fact underway, and this is being held by the Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh. Let me go across to my colleague Gursimran, who's tracking this story very closely. Good morning, Gursimran. Tell us about this security assessment meeting that is currently underway.
A short while back, this meeting was chaired by the Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh in the Rizangla Conference Hall in Northern Command of the Indian Army. This was attended by the Army Chief General Upendra Dwivedi, and in this meeting the threadbare discussion has taken place on the situation prevailing on the line of control, especially after the Operation Sindoor, when the terror infrastructure of the Pakistan was decimated to a large extent by the Indian side. And now what kind of a situation is prevailing, and what is the activity of the terror groups on their launch pads as well as their bases. Apart from this, a threadbare discussion discussion has taken place also on the prevailing scenario in the hinterland, including the anti-terror operations and the preparations for the upcoming Amarnath Yatra that is set to start from the 3rd of July and will go on till 9th of August, that is on the Raksha Bandhan. Threadbare discussion has taken place. The Lieutenant General Prateek Sharma, who happens to be the Northern Army Commander, he has briefed Raksha Mantri and the Army Chief on the situation that prevails in the 16 core area, 15 core area and the 14 core area, that is the Leh Ladakh Union Territory, Kashmir and the Jammu region.
Absolutely.
Apart from that, there has been a special briefing that was done by the Lieutenant General P.K. Mishra, who happens to be the 16 Corps Commander, with regards to the situation in the Jammu region.
Absolutely, Gursimran. Stay on with us. In fact, we have another breaking news coming in from Jammu and Kashmir. We are learning that security forces have launched a search operation in Samba district of Jammu and Kashmir. Search is launched after intelligence inputs of suspected terrorist movement in Barodi area of Bari Brahmana. Some calls were made to Pakistan from the mobile phones from this very area. Now, few locals are being questioned by the police. The search operation is being conducted by Jammu and Kashmir SOG personnel and the Indian Army. And what we are learning is that, in fact, the mobile phones, some calls were made to Pakistan from the mobile phones from this very particular area, and few locals are being questioned as of now. Let me once again bring in my colleague Gursimran. Gursimran, tell us about this search operation that, in fact, was launched in Samba district of Jammu and Kashmir. We are learning that few locals were also questioned by the police. What is this regarding?
Yes, 3 suspects that have been detained by the Jammu and Kashmir police for the questioning because their caller record suggests that they were making calls to the numbers across the border. It is suspected that they are the ones who have been giving shelter to the terrorists after their infiltration into the Indian territory, and that's why now the large-scale search operations are underway in the Barodi area of Bari Brahmana. This was launched early this morning by the Special Operations Group along with the Bari Brahmana Police and the Indian Army, and as we speak, the searches are underway in the area. We are told that the senior officers, including the Deputy Inspector General of the Jammu Kathua Samba Range, Shiv Kumar Sharma, he has also reached the Bari Brahmana base from where the operations are being monitored. As we speak, the searches are underway. The area has been cordoned in by the security forces, and they are trying to ensure that every suspected activity is being thoroughly checked, because nothing can be kept at chance, keeping in view that the Samba district, this Bari Brahmana area, this comes on the route of the Amarnath Yatra. When the pilgrims enter from the Lakhanpur area of Kathua, they pass through the Samba district and then come to the Bhagwati Nagar base camp in Jammu. So keeping that sensitivity of the movement in the wake, now the searches are underway, and every possible move is being done by the security forces to rule out any threat that is being posed by the adversary.
Absolutely, Gursimran, keep tracking those details for us. We'll keep coming back to you for more on this. Now, shifting our focus, we have another breaking news coming in from United States. We are learning that US President Donald Trump has said that his Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, was wrong in suggesting that there's no evidence Iran is building a nuclear weapon. Trump also contested intelligence assessments relayed earlier this year by his spy chief that Tehran was not working on a nuclear weapon when he spoke with the reporters at the airport in New Jersey. Have a look at the reactions.
The military there, they're
Well, then my intelligence community is wrong. Who in the intelligence community said that?
Your Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard.
She's wrong. Well, then my intelligence community is wrong. Who in the intelligence community said that?
Your Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard.
She's wrong.
Iran continues to seek expansion of its influence in the Middle East, despite the degradation to its proxies and defenses during the Gaza conflict. Iran has developed and maintains ballistic missiles, cruise missiles, and UAVs, including systems capable of striking U.S. targets and allies in the region. Tehran has shown a willingness to use these weapons, including during a 2020 attack on U.S. forces in Iraq, and in attacks against Israel in April and October 2024. Iran's cyber operations and capabilities also present a serious threat to U.S. networks and data. The IC continues to assess that Iran is not building a nuclear weapon, and Supreme Leader Khamenei has not authorized the nuclear weapons program that he suspended in 2003. The IC continues to monitor closely if Tehran decides to reauthorize its nuclear weapons program. In the past year, we've seen an erosion of a decades-long taboo in Iran on discussing nuclear weapons in public, likely emboldening nuclear weapons advocates within Iran's decision-making apparatus. Iran's enriched uranium stockpile is at its highest levels and is unprecedented for a state without nuclear weapons. Iran will likely continue efforts to counter Israel and press for U.S. military withdrawal from the region by aiding, arming, and helping to reconstitute its loose consortium of like-minded terrorists and militant actors, which it refers to as its axis of resistance. Iran continues to seek expansion.
And shifting our focus, International Yoga Day made its mark once again, and this time at the multinational military exercise Conquest in Mongolia, where the Indian Army led a unique celebration of unity and well-being. Here's a report.
The Indian contingent took the lead in commemorating International Yoga Day at the ongoing Conquest exercise. They brought together troops from across the globe for a rejuvenating session of yoga. Amid Mongolia's natural landscape, soldiers embraced the ancient Indian practice. Yoga is known for its benefits to physical health, mental clarity, and emotional balance. From stretching poses to mindful breathing, the session reflected yoga's growing global resonance. It showcased yoga's power to foster discipline, peace, cooperation, values central to every military force. The joint yoga celebration are being seen as a powerful reminder that even amidst military drills, nation can come together, not just in strategy, but in spirituality.
Now moving on, in the escalating Iran-Israel conflict of June 2025, Israel has launched Operation Rising Lion, targeting Iran's nuclear and military infrastructure. The operation included precise strikes that eliminated 11 senior Iranian generals, including IRGC commander and the chief of staff as well, accused of orchestrating terrorism in the country and destabilizing the region as well. Israel's attack hit key nuclear sites like Natanz and Arak, aiming to curb Iran's nuclear ambitions. Iran retaliated with missile barrages, killing civilians and damaging Israeli infrastructure. The conflict has claimed over 600 lives in Iran and dozens in Israel, raising fears of a broader war in the region. Have a look.
مجتمع هسته‌ای کشورمان حمله کردند. دشمن صهیونی مجتمع آب سنگین شهدای خنداب در استان مرکزی را مورد هدف قرار داد. مرتضی میری، مدیر کل مدیریت بحران استان مرکزی، به خبرگزاری صدا
120 नागरिक मारे गए हैं। इजरायल के वित्त मंत्री बेजेल स्मोट्रिच ने कहा कि ईरानी हमलों से हुए नुकसान के कारण लगभग 3000 इजरायलियों को निकाला गया है।
And with this, we are taking a very short break. Coming up on the other side, Israel has launched multiple missile attack on Iran, targeting more military bases after Tehran ruled out nuclear talks at the UN. We'll also tell you about how Trump now says that his intel chief is wrong about Iran's nuclear program. This and much more on the other side. Stay with us.
Each night on Prime Time, we don't just bring you the news. We lead it with responsibility, asking the toughest questions, breaking the biggest stories, setting the national agenda. At the Republic School of Journalism, you learn how to front the news with clarity, confidence, and conviction. The RSJ Diploma program begins on the 30th of June. Your Prime Time starts here.
विमल में गुलिस्तां की ये कुछ लजीज फरिश्ते जब साथ घुले तो जी ललचाए और दिल कहे कि स्वाद की इस जुबां में खुद को ऐसा डुबाऊं कि निकल ना पाऊं। विमल की जुबान कुछ है ही ऐसी, मानते हैं ना? विमल, बोलो जुबां केसरी।
अब छोलिया हो या लोबिया, सफेद चने या काले चने,
सब कुछ मजेदार बने।
विमल में गुलिस्तां के ये कुछ लजीज फरिश्ते जब साथ घुले तो जी ललचाए और दिल कहे कि स्वाद की जुबां में खुद को ऐसे डुबाऊं कि निकल ना पाऊं। विमल की जुबां कुछ है ही ऐसी, मानते हैं? विमल, बोलो जुबां केसरी।
अब छोलिया हो या लोबिया, सफेद चने या काले चने,
सब कुछ मजेदार बने।
مجتمع هسته‌ای کشورمان حمله کردند. دشمن صهیونی مجتمع آب سنگین شهدای خنداب در استان مرکزی را مورد هدف قرار داد. مرتضی میری، مدیر کل مدیریت بحران استان مرکزی به خبرگزاری صدا.
Welcome back. Now, a flight with 290 Indian students, mostly from Jammu and Kashmir, arrived in the national capital after Iran lifted its airspace restrictions as part of India's Operation Sindhu. Now, in a special gesture, Iran has allowed 3 evacuation flights to use its airspace to bring back home these 1,000 Indians. Watch this.
Today we saw that another batch of students of India, Bharat, that was stranded in Iran came back. Right now you're just witnessing that how most of these students who belong from Kashmir are being put in buses, and you are seeing that how officials from the Ministry of Home Affairs and other form of the union government are making sure that all the students over here who have just returned back to their motherland are being put in buses from where they're going to be sent back. So what we are going to be doing is, we have already had a word with the students, and I would just request my video journalists to just show the visuals of these buses where the students are being put. In fact, I would urge my video journalists to show the visuals of some more students being put over here. These are some of the students, who are over here. They are going to be put in buses. In fact, we'll try having a word with them. How does it feel to be coming back to your motherland?
Oh, it's very good, and हमें एम्बेसी ने बहुत ज़्यादा हेल्प की. उन्होंने इवैक्यूएट करने में बहुत ज़्यादा.
आप कश्मीर के कौन से भाग के, आपका नाम?
मेरा नाम साविसा जमुल है और मैं जम्मू में किश्तवाड़ से हूँ.
So yes, you are seeing that how now students are being put in buses. It's a happy situation for people coming over here, the students coming over here. From here, most of these students are going to be now taken back to Kashmir, where most of these students belong to. But yes, along with the students, there were also some people who had gone to pilgrimage, most of the people from western Uttar Pradesh. So yes, we've also had a word with them, and as I said, it's a happy situation where at least most of the students who were stranded in Iran, that is right now being torn in war, are being brought back. And you are witnessing that how there is a lot of hustle and bustle, a lot of excitement, a lot of enthusiasm. And I would just request the video journalist to show the visuals over here. A lot of enthusiasm as the students are being welcomed over here in the motherland. And it is not only the students who are being welcomed, but there are also a lot of people who had gone for pilgrimage. They are also being welcomed of finally returning from Iran, a war-torn country right now, being coming back to the motherland.
And with this, we're taking a very short break. Coming up on the other side, 2 more flights from Iran have landed in the national capital. Indian nationals evacuated under Operation Sindhu. UN Secretary General has warned confrontation between Israel and Iran is racing towards a crisis. This and much more on the other side. Keep watching Republic TV.
On Prime Time, we're not just reading the news, we are leading it with responsibility. Every night, we're asking tough questions, breaking the biggest stories, and setting the national agenda. At Republic School of Journalism, you will learn how to front the news with confidence, clarity, and conviction. RSJ Diploma begins June 30th. Your Prime Time starts here.
आधे बाउल दही में 4 चम्मच MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला डाला, स्टर करो, पुदीना चटनी तैयार। MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला।
विमल में गुलिस्तां के ये कुछ लजीज फरिश्ते जब साथ घुलें तो जी ललचाए और दिल कहे कि स्वाद की जुबान में खुद को ऐसे डुबाऊं कि निकल ना पाऊं। विमल की जुबान कुछ है ही ऐसी, मानते हैं? विमल, बोलो जुबान कैसी?
दादी के हाथों का जादू और खुशबू से महकता घर, माँ की मुस्कुराहट और खाने की सुगंध। MDH गरम मसाला,
क्योंकि हर रिश्ता है स्वाद से जुड़ा।
هسته‌ای کشورمان حمله کردند. دشمن صهیونی مجتمع آب سنگین شهدای خنداب در استان مرکزی را مورد هدف قرار داد. مرتضی میری، مدیر کل مدیریت بحران استان مرکزی به خبرگزاری صدا
A very good morning, hello and welcome. You're watching Republic TV with me, Akanksha Khajuria. The conflict between Iran and Israel has entered day 9. We'll tell you more about this, but first up as always, the headlines. Israel has launched multiple missile attacks on Iran, targeting more military bases after Tehran ruled out nuclear talks at the United Nations.
Well, then my intelligence community is wrong. Who in the intelligence community said that?
Your Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard.
She's wrong.
Trump has said that his intel chief is wrong about Iran's nuclear program. Flights with 290 Indian students arrived in the national capital after Iran lifted its airspace restriction as a part of India's Operation Sindhu. FATF report uncovers Pakistan's missile link in the seized shipment by India. As tensions continue between Iran and Israel, Prime Minister Modi has emphasized on yoga for global peace. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh held a high-level security assessment meeting regarding the situation along the LOC and hinterland. We have a breaking news coming in. As far as the evacuation of people from Iran is concerned, what we're learning is that Indian Embassy will be evacuating not just Indian nationals but the nationals from Nepal and Sri Lankan citizens as well from Iran. Just a while back, in fact, India and Iran has posted on social media on request of governments of Nepal and Sri Lanka, the Indian Embassy's evacuation efforts in Iran will also cover citizens of Nepal and Sri Lanka, and they've also put out the contact number for the citizens of Nepal and Sri Lanka. The citizens may urgently reach out to the embassy either on the Telegram channel or over the emergency contact number that they have posted on social media. So not just the Indian nationals, but this will also cover those who are from Nepal and also from Sri Lanka. Now moving on, a missile fired from Iran hit the daycare center in Beersheba in southern Israel. Fortunately, no children or staff were physically harmed in the attack as it occurred outside the center's regular operating hours. However, what we're learning is that the strike caused significant damage to the classrooms and play areas, impacting dozens of local families who rely on the center for childcare and stability. Very concerning news coming in from Israel. What we're learning is that a daycare center in Beersheba. Now, this is the area where just 2 days back, a hospital was also attacked and there was severe damage to the hospital building as well. Now, you can see on the screen, Iran has now hit the child care center. Plume of smoke coming out of that building. Very concerning visuals coming in from Israel, from the southern Israel area where just 2 days back, a hospital was attacked, now a child care center. Well, in the last 9 days, we are seeing attack and counter-attack as far as both the nations are concerned. And now what we're learning is that the civilian area, the childcare center, has been attacked. In the last few days, Israel has struck key nuclear facilities in Iran, including the oil and the gas facilities. Tehran, on the other hand, has hit Soroka Hospital just 2 days back in southern Israel, very close to the building that you can see on the screen. This is the child care center which has been attacked, and what we are learning is that even though there has been no casualty, severe damage has been incurred to this specific building. Well, let me go across to geopolitical expert Robinder Sachdev, and also joining us is Colonel Sanjeev Malik. Thank you so much for speaking to Republic TV. I would like to come to Robinder Sachdev first. I want to ask you, how do you see this? Because in the last 2 to 3 days, we are seeing that civilian areas have been attacked in Israel. Firstly, the buildings in the vicinity of Tel Aviv, then the hospital, and now the daycare center in Israel. The conflict is definitely escalating between the two nations.
Thank you so much. The conflict is definitely escalating. As to, the civilian targets and all, I think there are, broadly speaking, 3 logical reasons for that, a combination of all 3. Firstly, Israel is a small landmass, hardly 200 by 100 kilometer, right? Secondly, the Iranians are supposedly, even if targeting the military facilities, their missiles may not be as accurate also. That is another factor, right? And thirdly, often civil or civilian facilities are very nearby, research and other such military installations. Like even in yesterday's, I think the hospital was pretty near the command control, the Israeli cyber operations headquarters or something, right? So these are a couple of things. The third reason could be that, yes, Iran is not bothering. It wants to hit Israel. Right. So it's lobbying wherever it can, because in Israel, the impact of any such, attacks is definitely, anywhere the impact is huge. But in Israel, given the small density, the small nation, the impact is very high. And the mere fact that Iranian missiles are reaching Israel, that also is a factor. So I think it's a combination of all these 3 or such factors which is leading to such most unfortunate.
Absolutely. I would request Sanjeev Malik to come in and give a perspective on this escalation that we are witnessing in the last 9 days. How do you see this escalation, and how do you see it pan out in the coming days? Do you think this will de-escalate, or this will only escalate from this point onwards?
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Good morning. What I see, ma'am, in the current scenario, given the current scenario, this conflict is likely to sustain in the similar situation. Okay. What is happening? Iran is feeling at present almost a little isolated. Even yesterday or day before yesterday, if you see the events, it was hoping, okay, some statement will come from Pakistan, if not in the physical terms, at least in the moral support. That is also not coming. On the contrast, the report is there that Pakistan is also swaying away, and I think there are some other things are in favor of the US are being contemplated. What is happening, ma'am? Considering this particular fact, Iran wants to garner the support of some of the countries. In order to its effort to garner this, it is drawing the civilian targets inside the Israel. So it is basically making because the military targets are well fortified and are more in terms of the higher degree protected in terms of the protection. However, hospitals, childcare like facilities, even in times to come, you will see in a couple of days that more civilian targets are being targeted by Iran. So this is happening once because effort is that Israel also retaliates. But however, so far Israel has not targeted any civilian target inside Iran. Although it cannot be denied the civilian casualties are not there. By doing this, Iran effort is that once the Israel starts targeting the civilian facilities, so it can go to international community and it can garner some support and sympathy on the basis that Israel has targeted on the civilian targets inside Iran. So that looks the tactics of Iran as of now of targeting civilian facilities inside Israel.
Absolutely. I would request you both to stay on with us. In fact, we have another breaking news coming in. We're learning that Israel Defense Force has dismantled Iran missile launchers. IRGC commander eliminated in the drone strike. In fact, the Israeli Defense Forces have also foiled missile attack and they have destroyed the launcher is what we are learning. The Iran missile launchers have been destroyed in this latest attack by IDF. Let me again bring in geopolitical expert Rubinder Sachdev. Sir, on one hand, Iran has attacked the daycare center, the hospitals, the residential areas as well. On the other hand, we are saying that as far as Israel is concerned, they have dismantled not just the missile launchers, but in the last few days, nuclear facilities. Their focus is on nuclear facilities. How do you assess this situation?
No, very much so. Their focus is on nuclear facilities, or the scientists, their focus is on the leaderships, basically, be it the military leadership, be it the on-field leadership, be it the decision-making leadership, all of those. In terms of what ahead, maybe I see a couple of things. One, Trump, by saying that, he'll hold off his decision for 2 weeks. I think what he's doing is that, or Israel will feel compelled, I think now, to escalate the matter further on its own. And to my mind, this might mean now a real danger that Israel could move against Khamenei. Okay, see, 2 weeks is a long time in this war, which is going on every day. What is happening, and Israel is getting hit in civilian areas. Israel has to make a bigger, more dramatic now impact on Iran. Probably that would be one thought of mine. Of course, they could even also be contemplating taking their, commando troops and all, parachuting them down to outside the Fordow nuclear facility. By the way, the supposed enriched uranium which was there may have been very well dispersed out somewhere else also, right? The enriched fuel. But yes, the machinery, the technology, all of that infrastructure is there. So Israel could try and do something on its own there, or move towards Khamenei, because let's say, if it continues, and it will continue. And by the way, I'm reminded of another thing, like at the beginning of the Russia-Ukraine war, within 2 months, it was being said that, Russia has only 1,000 Kinjal missiles. It has used 500. It has only 500 more that way. And now we see that till now, Russia is having and managing. The point is the information that we are getting is getting from certain whichever sources who are putting out the information they would like to put out, right? So even in the case of Iran, for example, now I'm seeing some reports which say that, Iran has only 2,000 ballistic missiles, out of which so many have been used. So it has only X number remaining and it run out of missiles. Okay, it could very well run out, but it might very well not run out. That is the point I'm making, going by our past experiences of what we've been seeing as, reporting and information that we consume what we get, right? We are not there on the field. Nobody in the world is. So what information comes? So that's another element to this out there. And that said, it is having, I think, an impact, a strong impact on Israel. Israel has never seen an attack on its homeland of this kind. So the Israeli government, Netanyahu, will be, I think, forced to act even more harsher in coming days.
Absolutely. It remains to be seen how it pans out in the coming weeks. Sanjeev Malik, I would request you to stay on with us. In fact, we have more details coming in. Iran's Isfahan nuclear site was targeted by Israel. Blasts were reported in this area earlier this morning, and there's no comment from the Israel Defense Forces on this. Iran has said that nuclear facility was previously attacked by Israel during the current round of fighting as well. So as we were discussing, Sanjeev Malik, that the focus is on nuclear facilities, and especially this one because Isfahan is home to key Iranian nuclear facilities. So these attacks are happening in the last 9 days, nuclear facility after nuclear facilities. This has been the focus of the IDF. Sanjeev Malik.
As far as the nuclear facility destruction goes in Iran, but there is a widespread thinking all over the world that Iran going nukes is not only the dangerous for the Israel. Given the past record and the profiling of the statements of the Iran, and it's basically past, it is basically all the neighboring countries of the Middle East who are opposed to this. It is not only the Israel who wants to destroy these facilities. Okay, if you come to logically, okay, Iran, every country goes to, has the legitimacy and basically privilege to empower itself. But nuclear power is such a thing which Iran has fooled the world nations before also, saying that it is going ahead with the peaceful purposes. But however, with the intelligence sources and with the Mossad operation conducted a couple of years back, and accordingly a document produced by Prime Minister Netanyahu in the US General Assembly, it clearly showed that Iran was much beyond its peaceful purposes. Because anybody having the records, documentary records of 83.7 enrichment, it shows something else. That is why the priority of for this conflict has shifted initially, what target the nuclear facility of Iran. Now, coming to the nuclear facilities which are all over, spread over Iran, any country will not be that what I say, it will kill all these facilities, all its enriched material at one place. Of course, it knew that the problem can come anytime. So that is why they have kept this fissile material at number of places in the decentralized form. Now, Israel going one by one, it is not going to solve and destroy the facilities because, of course, it can damage entrances, existing. If you saw the case of the Fordo facility, they have fortified in such a way that even if the bunker busting takes place by the US in future, the damage is restricted to the outer or the zigzag formations of the concrete inside and the construction. So what I see, ma'am, the complete destruction or complete Israel damaging to the great extent, I do not see it remotely. Because this only can be done once for example, take a hypothetical case, tomorrow the regime is changed and the government is consultation with in consultation with the Israel or US and the world community, they themselves agree to destroy these things, dismantle these facilities. Otherwise, remotely destroying completely, I don't think, ma'am, sir.
Absolutely, because the Israel Prime Minister has said that their objective is to remove the nuclear program there. It remains to be seen how it pans out in the coming weeks. Thank you so much for speaking to Republic TV. Now, moving on, in fact, as far as this conflict is concerned, Iran has officially filed a complaint against International Atomic Energy Agency Director, alleging biased approach towards its nuclear program that Iran claims a peaceful nuclear activity. Now, in the complaint, Iran has accused IAEA head of violating the agency's neutrality and condoning Israel's military action against Iran's nuclear program. So this is a fresh complaint that has been filed by Iran against International Atomic Energy Agency IAEA director. The ministers of foreign affairs of France, Germany and the United Kingdom, together with the high representatives of the European Union, met with their Iranian counterpart in Geneva yesterday. They shared their grave concerns with regard to the escalation of the tensions in the Middle East and reiterated their firm commitment to the Israel security. They expressed their view that all sides should refrain from taking steps which lead to further escalation in the region and urgently find a solution to ensure that Iran never obtains or acquires any weapons. So this is in fact a joint statement that has come in from France, Germany and the United Kingdom together with the representatives of the European Union when yesterday they met with the Iranian counterpart at a time when the conflict between Iran and Israel is at its peak. The conflict between Iran and Israel has been intensifying, with both the countries engaging in a series of military strikes, cyber attacks and covert operations as well. Israel has targeted Iranian military installation, nuclear facilities and key infra, while Iran has responded with rocket attacks and drone strikes against Israeli territory. The conflict has significant global implications due to the involvement of the major world powers. The United States, a key ally of Israel, has been drawn into the conflict, while Iran has received support from Russia and China. Now, this has led to a complex web of alliances and rivalries that could potentially escalate the conflict even more. While the escalation sees no end in sight, Republic is the only channel reporting live from Tel Aviv in Israel from the areas that have suffered extensive damage. Here's what Republic reporter Nick saw on Ground Zero. Watch this.
Here is the downtown of Tel Aviv area, one of the main business centers of Israel. And you can see how extensive is the damage just from one ballistic missile that Iran sends towards this residential and business area. Tens of thousands of people are working here every day, and those offices, skyscrapers, were the target of the Iranian missile. And also the residential buildings here, some of them completely destroyed, some of them can fall any moment. That's why we can't go closer, because it's really dangerous. Parts of the buildings still are falling, and those buildings are not safe. People are evacuated from all of this area, and here the security forces continue to work and to understand how extensive is the damage from the Iranian ballistic missile. It was a illegal missile that was fired from Iran. It had a cluster munition on the ballistic missile, meaning that from one rocket, many smaller rockets were fired, and they are in the radius of all of this area fell, and they can explode any moment. If children or people touch them, they can explode, and this is illegal. But still, Iran doing that because they are trying to terrorize the people of Israel. Iran thinks that if the Israeli people will be terrorized enough, it will lead to a pressure on the Israeli government to stop their war, to stop their effort to destroy the nuclear capabilities, the nuclear weapons of the Iranian regime, with which they are threatening for many years to destroy the Jewish land. Although this is one of the main areas of Israel, one of the main roads, but still it is closed because of Iranian ballistic missile, and all those skyscrapers can fall, they are unstable. We still see how parts of those skyscrapers are falling on the road. People can't go there, everybody evacuated. And also we have here underground metro, and this metro saved the lives of many Israelis that heard the alerts and they escaped here. They escaped here and it saved their lives. You can see this metro station underground saved the lives of many Israelis, because Israelis used to this kind of reality when barrages of rockets are fired at them for decades, and it was just one of those barrages. And Iran illegally tried with cluster munition to kill as much as possible Israelis.
Iran has launched several missiles against Israel, targeting residential areas and causing significant damage and casualties. According to the reports, Iranian attacks have struck multiple urban areas in Israel, including Tel Aviv, Bat Yam, Tamra, and other areas of Israel. In one of the incidents, an Iranian missile struck a residential building, injuring at least 14 people. Here's a ground report from that exact location where the missiles hit. Have a look.
Those buildings maybe can collapse, and those buildings are not military targets whatsoever. You can understand that here it's a residential area. People are living here, and all of them were targets.